So, hi Maggie, thank you so much for accepting my invitation and being a guest in the Life of a Social Media Manager podcast. How are you?
I'm doing well, Adina. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to meet you and to be able to share a little bit of tidbits with your audience.
Thank you so much. Before to dive in and discuss all about social media strategies and clients and stuff like that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, I'd love to. I am, I live in New York. I have married three kids. That's personal. In my business life, I have been in the information technology arena for over 3 decades. Um, and I worked for government, I worked for private industry, corporate America, as well as at nonprofits. And during that journey, I did a variety of things, everything from programming to researching software to installing tools to optimizing online presence when that became a thing. I created an IT department before there was even a thing as an IT department. So in in all those few short years, so many changes happened. When in the last 5 years, well, 5 years ago, I created my own business called Master It Media. And this business targets how businesses can promote themselves using social media. That seemed to be the hot problem that so many businesses were having. And because of all my experience in IT, social media is just another tool, it's just another vehicle. But because it is really about entertaining your audience, it really appealed to me because I have a background in theater as well. So I blended my IT experience with my theatrical background, and that's how I came to be master at media.
Okay, so you have an interesting background because having and working for businesses like government and now working for IT, I think it's and now servicing actually clients that in the in IT segment, it's quite interesting because you saw so many trends and you observe so many let's say changes and how they can use and what type of messages they should create to engage with their audience on social media and not only. It's interesting to see that all this knowledge now goes to all this knowledge that you have until now goes to your clients.
Right, right. And it has changed so drastically, right? We see it, and not only is it changing drastically, but in the last 10 years, it's moving fast. It's really that changes, change always happens with technology, but in recent years, it has grown exponentially. I mean, you can see with TikTok just exploding in
Yeah,
3 years, right? 3 years ago, it wasn't even a thing,
yeah.
or it wasn't a big thing, right? Like it wasn't even on the radar. It is one of those things. So we really need to keep up with what's going on in the world with
Yeah,
technology.
yeah, true. So, being the CEO of your own company, you have to act as a strategy for your as a strategist for your clients. Can you describe the steps you follow for creating a strategy on social?
I'd love to, and when you're looking at a business, the most important thing that I do is I sit down and I listen to them. A lot of times in their frustration, they explain things that help me build a strategy for them. So a business would be struggling, most businesses, it's time, it's money, or it's knowledge, right? They don't know, it could be energy as well, but those three are the biggest ones that I see. They don't know how to do their social media, they don't have the time to do their own social media, and they really don't have the money to
Mm-hmm.
invest in it. But then I keep saying to them, you have to look at it as an investment, right? Because when you're looking at social media, you can do it organically, you can do it for free, but the if you don't know what you're doing, it can be a costly mistake and it can cost them money. So when we're looking at a business, I really get to know the client. I get to know what their true pain point is, and then we go from there. You have to lay a foundation. So when I'm looking at a client, I ask them leading questions, and I will research them. If they're a local business, I visit them. It really, this is critical to getting to know the client and to know what they do, because basically, as a social media strategist, you're trying to represent them online. So you have to do a little bit of legwork and a little bit of background. I also look at what is going on in their industry. So we do a lot of research, what their industry, regardless of what their industry is, we have to learn a little bit about their industry. We even ask the clients to tell us if they have an employee manual or something like that. I ask them to give them to us, because that also lets me understand their standard operating procedures, just like I have my standard operating procedures for my business. And I've got to tell you, this is even before we go online to their socials. We do look at their social media presence, their online presence, what they're doing, how they're servicing their clients, what people are saying about them. And then we establish their goals. So getting to know the clients, number one, establishing their goals. Some just want, I've got to tell you, they just want an online presence. They just want to look good online, and they don't want to worry about it. So we make sure that they have custom branded graphics and strategically created content captions with keywords. And I know there's big debates with hashtags, but we're using hashtags until they disappear. And then we also track what's going on with this, what's popular with their audience, what isn't, right? And we educate them, and let them know that when you're publishing on social media, you're either entertaining, engaging, or informing, right? These are things that sometimes we have one client where they're very there's a technical background there. They're in hair restoration. So people who are losing their hair due to illness, due to treatments, due to, hereditary. And there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of different things that affect that. So we really had to get to know what that is and try to convey that in simple language that whoever is following understands. And of course, the last step is always analytics, right? Looking at the analytics, what is going on, what's popular, what isn't popular, what their audience is commenting on, things like that. So the strategy comes out of all of that.
How much time do you spend in the research part?
That is really important. We actually, it's ongoing. So we research them. And then I would say with each client, we probably spend at least an hour a month just researching ongoing. In the beginning, we may spend 3 to 4 hours researching, it's competition,
comments, I guess.
It depends. Again, it depends on the client. Sometimes it's really easy and you're done. Like we find, things that I have experience with, like I used to work in a dance studio. So I don't have to do a lot of research for that, right? Because I used to teach acting classes. It's easy for me to figure that out. Some of my team has experience, like one of my team is experienced with hair salons and has worked, creating content for hair salons. So she has, of course, she was assigned that client and she brought her expertise to that client.
And in the reporting part, how do you measure, let's say, success for that client?
That depends on their goal. So, for example, if they're looking for brand awareness, right, we want to make sure we've got some engagement, we've got some action going on, maybe people sharing, liking, looking at impressions. If they're looking for ROI, if they're looking for clients, then usually what we do is we'll have them create some kind of a lead magnet, right? Or draw people in so we can see if the social media is driving them to take action to a specific thing. So we have a couple of different, depending on the goal, we create the strategy for that and then measure the analytics based on that goal.
Okay. What's the most challenging thing you have to do for your clients?
This is a great question, Adina. It's such a tough one to answer because we love our clients so much. When you get to know the business, you want them to be successful as well as you want to be successful, right? Like it's almost like you feel ownership, a part ownership to their business because you want to see that in any marketing field, you want to see the business succeed, not just because look, it's your job and you do it and you want to get more clients, right? It's about pride in doing it. So the challenge I have sometimes is getting information from them, getting video, getting that's the hardest part. So they're busy in their business, and the way we design our process, part of our process is to sit back and meet with them for a half an hour once a month, and a half an hour or an hour depending on their contract. And in that half hour I can cover a lot, but if I need testimonials that maybe they didn't get online, if I need video, we all know video is no matter what they say, video is trending, right? Like that's, people want to see people, like people want to see people. And that seems to be, we have some clients who go through professional videographers and they create their create their videos and they use it for multi purposes. So those are easy. It's just rifling through all that content could be a challenge. But I think the hardest thing for me is helping my clients feel comfortable being front facing to their clients and recording video. That I think is the biggest challenge, because that's where I see they would be more successful if they did that.
Yeah, I think I can relate with your clients. It's kind of difficult to, and if you don't have someone in your team that is confident on camera and can confident on camera and can speak about the services or the products that you are selling, it's difficult to be and to create the videos. And most of the time, the owners, the CEO or the CMO, depending how big is the company, I think they don't have enough time to think and to produce the video. So that's why it's challenging. I think I get them.
Yeah. And there's so many tools that are out there to use to edit video that I usually just tell my clients, grab your phone and just start recording, have somebody sit and record, or to get their clients. Like they may have clients that are, or team members that are very comfortable on camera. So I encourage them, have other people talk for you too, because that social proof is invaluable.
Yeah. How do you get these clients? What, I don't know, tips and tricks that you can share and in this process of sales that you do for your own business?
Yeah, I struggled. I had a business before Master at Media. I had multiple businesses before Master at Media, and I struggled a lot trying to gain clients, right? I didn't know what to do to get clients. Like I was trying to use, that's one of the reasons how I got into social media. I was trying to use social media. This is like 10, 15 years ago. I was trying, and it wasn't really what it is now. There wasn't the tools that you had to do a lot of work, and I wasn't really getting anywhere. And I'd go to like these we have chamber events where they're like a local town, and I'd go to networking events and I'm like passing out my card and I'm doing all this stuff, and I was getting no one. What I ended up doing was I ended up doing two things. I went to a networking group that was built on relationships instead of referrals, right? The referrals are coming like they came like it helped me survive COVID. So I went to this networking group. I learned how to network properly instead of throwing my cards to people. It's sitting down and talking like how we met, right? We sat
Mm-hmm.
next to each other at a conference and I said, "Hey, my name is Maggie." You said, "I'm Medina." We talked a little bit. I was like, "Are you, what are you here for? What are you trying to
Yeah.
learn?" Like whatever the questions was, it's getting to know the person on a relationship basis. And what
Yeah.
happens is they get to know you, they get to like you and trust you. We've heard that phrase before. Um, but and it took time, right? This is not an overnight process. Building a relationship with someone in the business realm takes time and it takes trust, right? So you have to
Yeah.
prove yourself. There's a book, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, called The Go Giver. And it talks
Mm-hmm.
about, instead of being a go getter, give. So that's how what I started doing. I started giving out free information. I started helping somebody without asking for payment, right? Just so they got to know who I was and what I knew. And then people started, I said, "Oh, I'm really glad you like this. Would you mind leaving me a review on Google?"
Yeah.
Now I got a review, right? That review was worth money to me.
Yeah.
The other thing that I did was I made sure that and this is how my journey came into social media. I optimized my social media platforms. So all of my profiles were optimized and I started posting on a consistent basis. So
Mm-hmm.
now I have that going and I have my network going. So it's my online presence is married to my in person or virtual presence. And that is helping me get new clients. And of course, I'm not afraid to ask my clients, I'm like, are you happy with your service? Do you like, they do. Then I'm like, well, if you know somebody who's struggling like you were and would like to have an easier way to get their social media out, feel free to let me know. And then usually what I do is if a client does something like that, I'll send them a gift, something, not just money, because most of my clients, some of my clients actually were insulted when I sent them a gift card. So what I did was I get to know them a little bit because of course we're going through this whole process. If it's a woman, I look at her, I see like a lot of times I'll get something like jewelry that I think would match what their style is, or I'll send a gift basket, something that shows that I care, right? That builds, again, that's appreciation. I'm not doing it for anything other than to say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm doing that I'm thinking about them and saying, I think this person loves red. She's just telling me it's her anniversary. It's February. Like, I got her a beautiful necklace that, like, she looked gorgeous in it. And she was like, "Thank you so much. This is really pretty and very thoughtful," right? Those are ways of building, people think of you and they think kindly of you. And it's an easy way to get clients because people just love to refer people to you.
Yeah, yeah, and as you said, it takes time uh, to build trust, and
Mhm.
I think it's very important to look at these small details that at some point make a difference in the way you connect and the way you work together. So
Right.
we try to approach this thing at Social Insider too. Basically, we want to make sure that with every interaction that we have with our clients is to give them a client or potential clients is to give them value. So give value first, and then you will get some money in returns. I think I
Correct.
don't know, it's like a mantra for us, but it's work in this case. So,
Yeah.
and now where the market is so crowded, well, there are a lot of tools, and once you are focused on giving, I think it's a different. It's a thing, maybe a small one that make a huge difference between Social Insider and other tools, or in any,
Right. And
it can be applied in any business.
right. And if you stay client focused and put their concerns and their needs first, it's very easy to retain them and keep them happy. I mean, because that's the other thing. It's not just how do you get clients, but how do you keep them, right?
Yeah.
keeping clients can be very hard sometimes, especially if you're growing and you're taking on new clients and you may not have staff or time.
Yeah.
You go on, if you're a one person show and you go on vacation and you've got multiple clients, how are you, how are you keeping
Manage
up
them.
with it? So, yeah.
Yeah. How do you find inspiration for these clients?
Oh, inspiration is interesting. It's very difficult sometimes in the creative world to keep up with, to keep coming up with new ideas, right? A lot of times it's, in these strategy sessions when we're talking, I let them go off. Like I ask a very open-ended question in the beginning, like, how are things going? Now, they could talk about their business, they could talk about their personal life, they could talk about their social media, they could talk about a number of things. So, listening very intently to what they're talking about. Because I think, too, with I used to do public relations and PR, like I bring that into my clients on top of the IT and the tech stuff. Um, it's also keeping in mind that not just my clients, but who their clients are. So
Mm-hmm.
if are their clients struggling, like one of them has, deals with health issues, right? And that if something's going on that's affecting the health, maybe we need to educate a little bit or provide um, tips on how to improve your health based on this health issue that they may have. So I think the key to finding inspiration is really listening to your clients and listening to their clients. And then inspiration comes from that, right? You want to solve a problem. We're problem solvers. Social media strategists and managers are problem solvers. Like, so we're all bringing in whatever our expertise is and finding those perfect clients that we can help. Um, and I think that's where you kind of, and of course, watch what other people are doing. There are so many creative people out there that are doing wonderful things. I'm not saying copy them. I'm saying look at them and see if there's something in that you could say, I could apply that. I could do something similar to that, or that gives me an idea for that. Like when we were at Social Media Marketing World, right? The inspiration was flying when we were listening to these, the presenters. There was a lot to learn and also learn from other people that were sitting in the audience. So I think that's it. That's also another thing, like keep up with don't be afraid to talk to other people in your industry that are doing the same thing you're doing, because you'd be surprised how being this week alone I was with 3 other social media strategists at different times, meetings with different times, or last week, and I just said I'm just going to be open about what my challenges are in my business. And it was so funny, each of them had the same kind of like
Mm-hmm.
struggle, or that could relate. I was there, or oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it. Is that something I got to worry about? Right. It was gratifying, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you can also create a sort of mastermind together. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
find people you really connect with, meet with them on a regular basis and
Yeah.
talk. I think that's, I'm um, a person that I'm a people person. Like I need
Mm-hmm.
people. I'm not an introvert. If you're an introvert and that frightens you,
Yeah.
then yeah,
It's
like
a problem.
yes, it's a problem. It's not a problem. Then what you do is go online and watch, like YouTube is filled with videos, right? Get inspiration from that. Like don't be afraid to look at other people. Like if you're listening to this podcast, right? The people are learning, right? And connecting with us and hoping to get an answer to whatever their problem is. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I think those are a couple of good ways I find inspiration for my clients.
Yeah, I know. So I think for, as you said, for extroverts, it's easier to go outside and meet with people and discuss about the struggles they have. For an
Mm.
introvert, I think um, at some point they can do this. If the job requires, or if you have to, I don't know, you have challenges and you cannot get in and cannot understand your clients, maybe getting some advice, some outside advice can be helpful in so many ways.
Mm.
How would you describe social media today?
Oh my gosh, it is. It's the first word that came to my mind when you asked that question was it's a mess. Okay. It's just a
Okay.
mess. All right.
Yeah.
We've got, like the challenge was like, you think like the oldest active social media platform is LinkedIn right now, right? Beats
Yeah.
Facebook by about 3 days. Okay. Or 3 months.
Yeah.
But you know, we used to have Facebook. We used to have LinkedIn, for business, right? And we used to have Facebook for personal, right? Then Instagram came along. It opened up a whole new world, right? I think Instagram was sort of like insane, and you have the other ones that have had popularity that have come and they come and kind of they're popular, more popular, they drop, they come like Twitter, for example, right? It's one of the big guys, but up and down, right? Sometimes it's you and it's almost like I don't know, Twitter just it works for some people, it doesn't work for others, right? And that comes into
Yeah.
strategy. And then of course TikTok was insane. That what they did not only shook up what we do, but it shook up the entire social media arena. Everybody was trying to keep up with them, like and it's funny because you had Vines, right, that came and went. You had Snapchat is still a thing, right, but it's different, right? And all these, now there's another one called Lemon 8 that's out.
Yeah.
And trying to keep up with all of this, it's
It's difficult.
it's
It's a
difficult, it's a
challenge.
challenge, but you have to be aware of what's going on. So I would say social media right now is, but like look at what we're able to do. You have people who are I was reading an article the other day how TikTok is creating millionaires out of influencers, right? Like it's crazy. Like average ordinary people who just have their personality and an idea and the ability to be creative can make tons of money. Just it's and businesses, bigger businesses are taking advantage of that because they
Yeah.
know that it's a grassroots thing, that people are listening. You look at let's take the makeup industry for example in YouTube. Like YouTube's insane, right? But I grew my YouTube channel because I knew it was going to be invaluable for my business, right? But you have people who are in there doing makeup tutorials, doing reviews on makeup, different products, right? And then you have companies like the big, the Maybellines, the CoverGirls, the whatever, right? And they don't have as many followers as these
Yeah.
people recording out of their basement doing a makeup tutorial. Like it's crazy, right? It's a mess. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy. It's good crazy. It's sometimes there's bad crazy in there too. But I think that we're just at this is the infancy stage of what social media is going to be. We don't even know I don't even know what's coming, but you've got there's a lot that we need to prepare for, and we've got to keep up with the changes that are happening now. Otherwise, we're
Mhm.
going to be lost later.
Yeah. And I think TikTok changed the game with
Yeah.
everything, with the way brands can be on this platform, the way the way you can, as a social media manager, produce content and stuff like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for
And
instance, yeah,
remember, I mentioned about entertaining your audience. That's TikTok's thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Think think about what you like to watch. What makes you stop? Like, I'm sorry, I like the little videos about the cute cats doing cute things. As long as, I get worried. Sometimes I'm like, people, don't hurt your animals to just get a TikTok video. But some of them are so adorable. They just make you smile. You're just entertaining people.
Yeah, yeah. And what TikTok did was to give the power to small accounts, small influencers, and to change the balance. Basically, the brands don't have the distribution channel. Now the influencers have the distribution channels. For example, as you
Right.
said, in the Maybelline case, the Maybelline as a brand, TikTok, it is with some numbers a distribution channel for them. But if they want to launch and promote a new product, they go to influencers because the audience is there following the influencers, and the influencers have the distribution channel for Maybelline,
Right.
and
And
this.
people, I'm sorry to interrupt, Adina.
Yeah,
One
no
thing on
worries.
that, because I'll forget. This is my problem.
Yeah.
What you said is so right. And the other, we were talking about trust earlier. People, especially the younger demographic, does not trust big business.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't trust them. I don't care what you say. Their big business is going to have to learn that the consumer is not buying what they're selling. They're
Yeah.
buying an experience, right? And
Yeah.
they're also listening to other people. That's why reviews are so important. And these influencers and influencers have, if an influencer just does a buy-in, like I'm gonna, they're giving me a ton of money and I'm just gonna promote this product because like I want to make the money, and it's not a good product, they're going to lose followers and they're going to lose
Yeah.
the trust of their followers. So as influencers know how to play the game and play it right.
Yeah.
And we were also talking about keeping clients first, right? Their clients, their followers, right, they owe them their integrity.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not that easy now to fake what you are doing. So
Yeah.
social media. It's more like it's becoming a place where you, as long as you present yourself as a human being with all the struggles and vulnerabilities that you have, and showing how vulnerable are you, it's the best way to be there and to show, I don't know, who are you
Right.
in your real life, in your home, in your the way you are doing things and stuff like that. So
Right.
being human, I think it's more important than ever now on social media. Whether you are a business or influencers, it's really important.
Mm, absolutely. And this word authenticity is tossed around a lot, but it's being authentic, having integrity, pride in your work, pride in and don't I'm not saying put it all out there. What I
Yeah,
am saying is just you have to be protective. That's one of the downsides of social media, right? We have to protect our lives, right? Because there's a lot going on. But what I am saying is like, don't be afraid to be you. Are you going to deter people? Are people going to be like turned off? Absolutely. And that's a good thing. Because if people don't get you, if people don't like you, it's better for you to know from the get-go and get them out of your followers, right? And keep the people who love you, who get you, who understand you, who
yeah,
relate to you, right? Like that's one of the things why we always say don't buy followers. Like never, never, ever, ever buy followers, because
yeah,
you just mess everything up. And I've had that with clients. I'm like, they're like, well, I want to have, 50,000 followers, and they're starting at zero. I said, look, do you want followers or do you want a strong business social? Do you want a strong presence that
presence.
drives the right clients? I'd rather have 1,000 clients or 1,000 followers and have the right followers that
Yeah.
are ready to buy from me than have 10,000 followers and have random people who I don't know.
I understand. Thank you so much, Maggie, for sharing all this stuff with me. I think what you said earlier about social media strategies are problem solvers. I think I don't know, so insightful and it's insightful and describe in one single sentence everything that a social media strategist does. So I quote you later when I promote this podcast.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. This was so much fun, Dina. You're a wonderful interviewer. You brought out a lot of stuff I haven't thought about in a long time. So it was really, and things that I do that I just do, right? I don't think about it. So thank you for asking those great questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The last part is includes that a fire up session. So I have some words. You have to pick just one word from each part. So online or offline?
Oof. Online.
YouTube or Facebook?
YouTube.
Long form video or short form video?
Short form.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Maggie.
Oh,
Can
sure.
you tell us where people can find you?
Sure. So it's really easy across all major social media platforms. I'm at Master It Media. So, and then, my YouTube channel has over 200 videos. If you want to pop over and show me some love there, I'd love that. And of course, you can reach out to me. My website is masteritmedia.com.
All the links will be included in the podcast app. So anyone who want to explore more about your business can go to the description and see the links there.
Yeah.
So
And
thank you
it's
so much.
interesting,
Yeah.
Adina. I also have a product called Painless Posting. It's our posting tool. So they can
Okay.
also visit over there, painlessposting.com. And again,
Okay.
at Painless Posting.
That's a nice name.
Yeah, well, it does what it says. That's the challenge,
Exactly.
right? We
Exactly.
all we all go through it. I think people can relate to that.
Good. Good. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maggie.